You know, folks, for all the guys and gals on NASCAR on Fox, it all begins in Daytona. Now, many of you may not really know what it takes to broadcast a NASCAR race every week. Let me educate you.
On the road again, going places that I've never been.
You ain't Jeff Gordon.
Seeing things that I may never see again. I can't wait to get on the road again.
Each week, the production trucks arrive on Tuesday for a Sunday race. We got 11 TV trucks, 50 cameras, 25 or 30 miles of cable. We got more cameras, more cable, more people than any Super Bowl Fox has ever done. We got 200 people to bring you NASCAR on Fox every week and to capture moments especially like this.
52nd Daytona 500 to Jimmy.
Yeah, little Jamie, baby.
And the 99 has turned over Brad Keselowski.
I'd rather lose to any other cars out there than this 48
You
car.
never know. These two are teammates, Darrell, the way they're going at each other right now.
48 is testing my patience, I can tell you that. I'm pissed.
Here they come.
It's Corbin. Got him.
Jimmy Johnson, his 50th Sprint Cup win.
Well, folks, all good things must come to an end. This has been one of our best seasons ever, and we're going to cap it off with 600 grueling miles. It's the Coke 600 right now on Fox.
And glad to have you with us. Tonight, it's about drivers and heroes, action and bravery. Fox Sports welcomes you this Memorial Day weekend to the Coca-Cola 600 from just outside Charlotte, North Carolina. It's NASCAR's ultimate test of endurance. Will the champ snap out of his slump? Can a two-time champion win his first race of the 2010 season? Will teammates get along when it matters most? Can the current points leader maintain his lead? The answers are 600 miles away. Steamy warm weather for a hot happening race. And our Hollywood hotel located in the heart of it all at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Along with Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond, I'm Chris Myers. Hope you're enjoying your holiday weekend. Thanks for being with us and all season long, all 10 years with NASCAR on Fox. Darrell, you've won the Coca-Cola 600 5 times. That's the best anybody's done. What does it take to win this race?
It takes a smart driver and a cool crew chief. And obviously a lot of luck.
And some patience along the way.
What he's talking about, Chris, is, you know, this race is, that's 600 miles. Everybody thinks, well, it's only 100 miles longer than anything else we've been doing. But it's that, what it does to mentally as well as to that car and the engine, it all comes to play. And like you said, you got to have a smart driver to take care of that car when you need it the most.
Now we're going to check on the weather and the effect there in just a moment. No points race last week, still a huge weekend in Charlotte. Sunday, the Hall of Fame inducted its inaugural class. Stars of the past and the present were on hand as Bill France Sr. and Jr., Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, Junior Johnson were all enshrined. That followed the Saturday night All-Star race, the Sprint All-Star race. Anger and action. And in the end, it was Kurt Busch who took home $1 million. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick, a strong start to the season through the 1/3 mark. He's your points leader. Ryan Newman is on the pole, fittingly in the U.S. Army car for today's race. And tough news for Brian Vickers, missing the rest of the season. He is recovering from blood clots in his lungs and his left leg. We wish him the best. And, of course, the final race for this year on Fox, and Darrell, you know, is not happy about that. Somehow you get emotional whenever we say goodbye for the first portion of the season.
It's sad. We set it up, you know. It's like having a car that could win the race, and you got to get out of it for a relief driver. And it always affects me that way. I'm sad. I'm sad we're not going to be here next week to do this thing that we love so much.
But you have 600 miles tonight to go.
Right.
And how about what we've seen already in practice? We had Carl Edwards. He's in a backup car. Brad Keselowski he said a spin was worse than what happened to him in Atlanta.
Oh, Keselowski's wreck. I'm telling you, it couldn't have been any worse. He gets right here. This thing snaps loose and then slaps the fence right there. It knocked that kid out there for a second. He was hurt.
He still is, Darrell. I mean, right now he's got some bruises, Chris. I mean, inside there, he told me he literally broke the leg supports loose inside that car, which is hard to do with the way they do these cockpits nowadays. He's still hurting.
We'll be watching closely. We'll bring in the guys along with Darrell, calling the race, Mike Joy and Larry McReynolds. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Chris, and hi, everybody. We're at one of the most unique vantage points in all of stock car racing. Charlotte Motor Speedway was the very first track to sell trackside condominium. Larry, the folks that'll watch from the penthouse here today, give them a couple of cars to watch for.
Well, I'll give you two. One starting at the front, one starting near the rear. Starting on the outside of the front row, Kurt Busch, the man that took the $1 million last Saturday night. Different car, but good in practice. Starting 40th, Greg Biffle, good in race practice, but we're going to have to watch him. He's going to be right against the wall all night long.
Let me add to that list Martin Truex Jr. He won last week's showdown and finished second in the All-Star race. This is a big race to win for a whole lot of reasons, principally because it's here in Charlotte.
NASCAR has a long history in the South, and the sports capital is Charlotte, North Carolina. The first ever NASCAR strictly stock race was held in Charlotte in 1949. And since, this city has grown to be the center of the sport. The opening of Charlotte Motor Speedway in 1960 cemented the city's importance.
600 miles.
Track founders Curtis Turner and Bruton Smith wanted Charlotte to host the longest, most grueling race in NASCAR, so they created a 600-mile race.
It's a tough race to win, so it feels good if you can win up to 600 miles.
The 600 being the longest race that we have, there's a lot of history behind it.
Oh, yes, the history. Charlotte Motor Speedway hosted the first nighttime super speedway race in NASCAR's modern era. It's home to the All-Star race, and it's where a future legend secured his first career win.
I'm speechless, man. I mean, this is the greatest day of my life.
I still look back and can't believe that I won my first race at a track that is so tough to win at.
Darrell Waltrip and Bobby Allison set track records with 6 career wins. But in recent years, a new champion has joined them atop the record book.
Here he comes, Jimmy Johnson.
There are just certain tracks that fit the driver's style. That track works very, very well for us.
The city's importance to the sport's present and its history continues to grow with the recent opening of the new NASCAR Hall of Fame in Uptown Charlotte.
With the length of this race and the transition from daylight to darkness, expect the unexpected.
6 drivers got their first win in the Coke 600.
All right, back to you, fellas.
All right, thanks. And Mike, thanks for the historical pieces all season long. Sharad Gavaskar also putting the production on that, taking us back to the racing roots. And this thing, this track, the slick surface, there's a little bit more to it that will affect the race.
Well, it's car control, and it's almost like racing on dirt. And some of these guys are better at that than others. And it's not just in the sunlight when the race starts. All through the evening, this track does pick up a little bit of grip, but you still got to be able to hang on to that thing with it hanging out, the back end hanging out. Guys that can do that are guys that will win this race.
And the thing is right now, Chris, we come here this race, we've got a different left side tire, and the way the track is taking this tire, especially the left side rubber, is creating, I think, a little bit of a problem for a lot of drivers. They don't know whether the car is going to be slick or get a little bit too loose. The teams that can keep up with the adjustment tonight, we talk about it all the time. You've got to be able to adjust on these cars and keep your driver calm, because he's going to get frustrated sooner or later.
Yeah, there are numerous pit stops. Our pit reporters are covering the speedway, which covers some 2,000 acres. Dick Berggren, Steve Burns, Matt Yoakum, and Chris Devoto. Say hi to Dick.
Jeff Gordon has led more laps this year than any other driver, but he has not won. Will tonight be the night? I'll ask him.
Last week, Kyle Busch said to keep him away from his teammate Denny Hamlin. Is there any bad blood hangover? I'll talk to Kyle Busch.
Joe gives media the post-race fireworks between Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin. I'll check in with Hamlin to see if they've moved on or if issues still linger.
Kurt Busch has 19 starts here at Charlotte Motor Speedway without a win. However, last Saturday night he went to victory lane here and got $1 million. Does momentum work in NASCAR like it does in other sports? We'll ask him.
All right, thanks, Steve. We can already see how hot it is out there. Here's what's around the turn. We hope you stay with us. He's got 3 wins, 4th in points, may have a 5th straight championship. Jimmy Johnson, a wanted man, and Darrell caught up with him. They'll sit down, take a look back, and a look ahead. And it's true, family feuds have been a theme recently, and no team is safe, even ours. We'll recap the teammate turmoil on the track and away from the track. And from records to green-white checkers, it's been a great season for Fox and for you watching. Check out the fantastic finishes, the crazy crashes that have had fans up and hollering. The A-Team, the movie stars, are here to watch racing. We'll talk with Bradley Cooper and Jessica Biel. NASCAR loves Hollywood, plus gas and go. And the drivers are getting ready for 600 miles. We're glad to have you watching on this Memorial Day weekend for NASCAR on Fox. The Coca-Cola 600 on Fox is sponsored by Coca-Cola. On this Memorial Day weekend, Coca-Cola and the Coca-Cola racing family salute the fine men and women who serve their country. Friday.